Do you guys know that feeling of bliss when you get to watch something that's so good that it changes your life? Well, this topic is not regarding that. This topic is full of some bullshit or some rabbit shit in this case, alright? This episode is goddamn terrible. I don't know why you would want me to recommend that you guys watch this, alright? This is worse than rabbit food, alright? This is like reaching into a box of Cocoa Puffs or some Girl Scout mints and all you get is a handful of rabbit dookie pellets, alright? That's all this is. That's all there is to it, all right? You know the commercial, right? Tricks are for kids, silly rabbit. Well, guess what? The only trick I wish is that I got tricked into never watching this goddamn episode. That would have actually helped my life and helped my mental state, all right? I'm being serious, y'all. There's a saying, right, that you gotta fornicate like rabbits. Well, if the saying goes that you fornicate like rabbits, this episode is a vasectomy, okay? That's what I'm talking about. This episode is a giant marble-sized kidney stone that I gotta piss out after a morning of eating Chipotle, all right? I ate some extra hot spicy ramen. I'm on the toilet, and next thing you know, this marble-sized jewel has to come out of the shaft, and next thing you know, I'm going through all 9 layers of Dante's Inferno. That's what watching this episode feels like, okay? That's what it feels like. If you guys want to talk about show business the same way that Tim, the main character in this episode, talks about show business, all right, you can watch The Haunted Mask 2. The Haunted Mask 2 is like watching Don Rickles do stand-up. And this is like watching Amy Schumer on the set of the movie Cats. You know which one I'm talking about. That's what it's like, bro. I don't know why you would want to watch this shit. This shit is terrible. And first of all, the main villain is probably one of the cringiest parts of this entire episode. This guy is the committer and fraud that does the talking rabbit stuff. I thought this guy's name was El Cinco. His name is El Sydney. I thought it was El Cinco. I was like, this man's not El Cinco. He's wearing this conquistador, matador type of Maracha outfit. You're not El Cinco, bro. You're El Cinco de Mayo. No. You're El Cinco de Mayonnaise. You look nothing like an authentic magician. And yet, we're here talking about this absolute dog shit, absolute elephant shit, absolute rotting, exploding whale carcass junk. There is no way that I should be sitting here and talking about this episode, but I have to because it's one of the last ones that I had to check out regarding the Goosebumps episode series. So here I am. So let's talk about this piece of shit ass episode, all right? I'm talking about Bad Hair Day. Bad Hair Day is a book which is probably within 2 realms of people's understanding as part of the Goosebumps community. Either you've never read this book or never seen this story, or you have experienced it and you wish that you could never experience it again, all right? This is definitely not the type of experience that you would want to go through again, all right? This is straight up like you ate some really bad funnel cake at some bootleg amusement park down some country road, and next thing you know, you go on the Tyrannosaurus roller coaster ride, and next thing you know, you're exploding your guts out everywhere. That's what this episode is, all right? That's what it is. That's what it is. How can you sit here and act like you're going through a good time? You're not, and neither did I. But maybe if I explained it to you, it might save you the time that you'd want to waste watching it. Or maybe you get curious and you watch it anyway. As far as I know, people get curious and experience horrible things. How do you think I discovered the 2 girls, 1 cup video? Or the video with the woman with the bucket of eels? Don't even ask questions. You don't need to look it up. But if you do, I warned you, all right? So let's talk about this episode. This episode, Bad Hair Day. What is it about? Now, I haven't read the book first. I'm going to be speaking strictly from the episode. People have told me the episode's better than the book. I've not read the book. I don't know what the book is like compared to the episode. I would assume they're quite similar with a few differences. So I'm only talking about the episode for those who've read the book. You can let me know how it compares to the adaptation, all right? So what's it about? So you have Tim, who's a kid with his friend and his little sister, and they're at this magic store, right? They're at this magic store. They're playing around with the different magic contraptions. It kind of reminds me of that one GYG book, Under the Magician's Spell, which I think Bad Hair Day was actually referenced in Under the Magician's Spell. I could be wrong, but I believe it was. And it also kind of reminds me of Are You Afraid of the Dark, the Tale of the Super Specs, where it always starts off with kids in a magic shop, these friends in a magic shop, kind of looking at the different contraptions. And what ends up happening is that Tim ends up getting these tickets, and these 2 tickets are for the performance that's going to be happening by Amazo. Now, Amazo, I believe that's his name, is this very popular magician, kind of like this Houdini, David Blaine kind of character in the Goosebumps canon verse. and Tim gets tickets. He wants to go see it because Tim's always wanted to be a magician. He loves the show business. He loves the idea of doing tricks and impressing people and the idea of magic. He's a huge fan. But obviously his friend is not able to go, so what ends up happening is that he tries to sneak out one night to go to a Mazo show, and his little sister catches him. And then because his little sister caught him, she threatens to snitch. Snitches get stitches, and that little bitch was asking for it. But she tries to snitch, and he decides to take her with. So they go to a Mazo show, and they get to experience it. And what ends up happening is that Tim actually happens to become a part of the show. He gets invited on, they perform a trick with them, this vanishing act, and next thing you know, he actually does end up vanishing. But he ends up at underneath the stage of this performance in this back room area where, you know, he doesn't know what happened, and he gets kind of threatened and kind of gets this like very rude kind of interaction with, I guess, one of Amazo's personal assistants, who tells him to basically kick him out. And then, you know, Tim feels like he was betrayed, he got left behind, and what's his sister thinking about? You know, he just disappeared and no one's taking care of him. He's just getting insulted in this back room. And next thing you know, he gets aggravated and decides to take Amazo's magic kit, which is down there. He steals it, he runs away, he goes back home with his sister, and his sister basically is like, what the heck did you do? Why did you take his magic kit? You're gonna get in so much trouble. He's like, don't even worry about it. Amazo's a jerk, he's a fraud. We got mistreated down there. He left me to just rot over there. You know, I'm gonna take his kit and I'm gonna expose him for what he is. Starts playing around with the magic kit, and next thing you know, when he tries to perform a trick on his little sister, let's just say it happens to go wrong. And then he encounters this talking rabbit, and this talking rabbit has some very deep information regarding his past and what may potentially be going on in the world of Amazo, his performances, and the reasons why things are the way they seem they are. That's all I'm going to talk about without spoiling too much of the plot. Basically, this kid is obsessed with magic, goes to a magic show, feels like he gets mistreated, kind of gets his negative perception of the magician, and then ends up uncovering this brand new thing because of some misdeed that he did. And what are the positives to this episode? The positives to this episode are, I guess if you're a magic fan, you can appreciate the very mediocre magic tricks. There's really no positives with this episode. I'm being for real. There's really nothing that stands out in this episode or makes it extraordinary. It literally just talks about basic magic tricks, the idea of show business, and goes down this extremely goofy route with some terrible effects, terrible visual effects, some cringy acting and cringy dialogue. The little sister sucks. Tim, the main character, is pretty cringe by the end of the episode. The main villain, you know, he sucks. He's very extremely cringe. A lot of the cringy dialogue comes from that. I felt like I was watching Power Rangers Turbo all over again. I mean, I'm watching Power Rangers Turbo right now, but I feel like I was experiencing that type of previous Saban cringe involving this whole thing. And I was like, oh my god, dude, I couldn't stand it. I was like, this episode's terrible. It's so cringy. How am I going to sit through it? And then I got to the ending, and the ending is a slap to the face because it ends on this goofy kind of Looney Tunes. That's all, folks. That's how this kind of episode ends. And it ends on that goofy note. And then you get one of the most terrible theme songs I ever heard in my life. It's the Goosebumps theme song at the ending, but it's remixed with like random sound effects where it's like do 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 do. I'm like, what? Who made this? Who composed this? Who thought that this was a good idea? As if the episode wasn't already a slap to the face. This theme song is just a punch to the gut. I'm like, bro, I'm already getting beat up. Why you gotta give me the Mike Tyson treatment? Do I really gotta get my ear bit off? Is that what we're doing? But guess what? That's what ends up happening. This episode all around, I feel like, was not taken seriously. I don't believe that the producers or people who made this really went in thinking that it was going to be good. They probably just went with it going like, hey, we're going to make some garbage, just like what the book was, and it's going to end up doing whatever because it's got the Goosebumps IP attached to it. Same way they probably treated My Harriest Adventure. Same way they probably treated Teacher's Pet. All those terrible episodes. Same way they probably treated Strained Peas. All those terrible episodes are probably treated around the same kind of idea, but I think Bad Hair Day and My Harriest Adventure both involve hair. I think they were actually done just to be like a goofy, bad shit that would have passed and would have made them money while simultaneously getting attraction because, hey, it's Goosebumps and it's based off a book. So, yeah, that's really all there is to this episode. You can go check it out. I would not recommend it. This is not something that I would want you to go do. There's a scene at the end of the episode with the guillotine. I think you going through the guillotine treatment is more fun than sitting through this entire episode and all the cringe, all the cringe ingrained within it. But if you're curious, if you happen to like Bad Hair Day, if you happen to like Bad Hair Day's episode when you watched it as a kid, or if you've never seen it, but you like magic, you're curious, you want to see what it's about, go check it out of morbid curiosity, all right? Nothing ever bad can happen out of morbid curiosity, except for all the people in horror movies who happen to die from serial killers, or all the people who unfortunately looked up blue waffles on Google search. A lot of bad things can actually come from morbid curiosity, but you know what they say, curiosity killed the cat. It also did not kill the rabbit, which is why I suffered from this rabbit's dookie pellets, and right now I'm sick to my stomach. So yeah, that's all there is to this review. Try to keep it as short as possible because there's not much else I can talk about this, and until I read the book, I'll probably have a more in-depth conversation for the things that I could highlight. People have said that the book is worse than the episode. I watched another terrible episode called My Best Friend is Invisible, which apparently people said that the book is even worse than that, which means that I will die reading both of those because both those episodes were straight rhino, hippo shit. I'm talking about hippo spring territory shit. The books could only be the worst of the worst. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, but I have to get to it eventually. So stay tuned for my pain and suffering. And meanwhile, until then, hit that like button down below and hit that subscribe button as well. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And I'm trying to get to 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, however many subscribers that we can get and build up the community. Just hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and then check out my other videos and do the same. Listen, man, it's free. Just hit it. It's a free way to support me. And it also lets me know that you guys are engaged with the content. Lets me know which content you guys want to see more and allows me to get your feedback. So yeah, just hit it. Let me know. And enjoy your day. Hopefully you don't have to suffer the same way I did. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Deuces. Maybe I should end it off with what Mr. L. Sidney said during his debut appearance. Honey, I'm home. Fuck this episode.